Kirk Bloodworth was convicted in 1984 for allegedly raping and murdering a 9-year-old girl. After his conviction, he was sentenced to the death penalty. However, DNA evidence later found that he was not the person who committed the crime. Upon discovery of this evidence, he was exonerated. Now that makes me upset because an innocent person could have died if they found out too late. Now, today I'm here to persuade you that there is no need for the death penalty. Also, how the law itself contradicts itself because they murder people, will kill people for murdering people, so they contradict themselves by executing the murderers, well, alleged murderers. Okay, here I'm going to show you how the death penalty is costly in every state that is allowed. Consequently, it strengthens the idea that violence and killing are the solution to social troubles. There is always a risk of executing an innocent person, just like Kirk Bloodworth I just told you about. My purpose of this speech is to abolish the death penalty. This topic is very important to me because I feel that it is inhumane to kill any human being, no matter what they did. In this speech, I will talk about the different flaws within the death penalty. Those include how the death penalty contradicts itself since they are convicting the criminals for murder, how costly the death penalty can be, the possibility of killing an innocent man, and how prison is made for rehabilitation, yet court systems sentence people to death with no chance of rehabilitating. We as a society need to realize that the death penalty is inhumane and should be banned in every state. Now, what is the definition of the death penalty, you may ask? I don't know if you know, but I'll let you know. The death penalty definition, according to dictionary.com, the sentence of execution for murder and some other capital crimes. Now, what is a capital crime? A capital crime is also an offense. An offense is a crime, such as a murder or betrayal of one's country, that is treated so seriously that death may be considered an appropriate punishment. The banning of death penalty would keep the murder rate down. Yes, it would keep the murder rate down because according to the Death Penalty Information Center, there has been 1,249 inmates executed on the death row since 1976. Those were 1,249 people who could have lived within the crime that they have committed. So if you do the crime, I think you should do the time. I don't think that they should kill you. The death penalty lacks deterrence from homicide. A research on death penalty has shown that the murder rates have stayed the same even when the death penalty is enforced. The homicide rate went down when the death penalty was banned, which means it wasn't really a deterrence after all. There is an unneeded cost for taxpayers. Taxpayers pay for everything, and I know you don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. For example, in Texas, a death penalty case costs an average of $2.3 million, about 3 times the cost of imprisoning someone in a single cell at the highest security level for 40 years, which is a very long time. And I know that I would rather have somebody in there for 40 years than die. Now visualize this. Imagine how you would feel if the person on death row was about to be executed and they were your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin, anybody that was very close to you. Wouldn't you want them to have a chance of rehabilitation? The last point is to make a prison a true rehabilitation center. Give prisoners the support that was never given to them. Give that shoulder that they need to lean on. Once you have done the time, you should no longer be called a criminal. So don't call them a criminal. Call them by their names. And, have jobs for the inmates to provide for their families. I think that every inmate should have a job that just helps them, get back on track to where they need to be. I hope I have inspired you to ban the death penalty in all states and work towards a better society. See, as you see, the death penalty is costly. Homicide rate is lower where the death penalty is banned. There is no way to know if the person on death penalty is truly guilty. I would like to thank you all. I would like you all to visit deathpenalty.org to look at the different statistics and see, what's going on. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to me. Do the right thing and say no to the death penalty.